رسول الله الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا صلوا على محمد وآل محمد
اللهم
صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Historically, in many of our hadith books, we have a chapter under the title of At-Tibb, medicine. In most of our books of hadith, you will find chapters on salah, on Sawm, on Hajj, on Khums, on Zakat, and there's always a chapter on Tibb, medicine, medical advice given by the Ahl-e-Bait, given by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the rest of the Imams. In fact, there are independent books on the medicine of the Ahl-e-Bait. We have Tibb al-Nabi, a book called The Medicine of Rasulullah. We have a book called The Medicine of Al-A'imma, Tibb al-A'imma. We have a book called Tibb al-Imam Rida that we will discuss at the end, inshallah. Imam Rida has an entire book on medicine, giving medical advice. Several transmitters from the Shia wrote independent books on Tibb. If you read Rijal al-Najashi, who was a contemporary of a Sheikh al-Tusi, has a book called Fihrist Asma Musannif Shia. He wrote a book, basically a bibliography of all of the Shia companions. The companions of the Imams who wrote books on hadith, on fiqh, on the maqtal of Imam Hussein. Many of them have a book called Tibb, a compilation of a hadith regarding Tibb, medicine. Imam Rida alayhi salam has Al-Risala al-Dhahabiyya, the golden treatise on medicine, that we will talk about at the end. There are a lot of Islamic teachings regarding medicine, Islamic medical teachings. Let me give you a couple of examples. Number one, we have a hadith that says, Al-Ma'datu Baytul Da wal-Hamyatu Ra'sul Dawa, that our stomach is home to all illnesses. It's home to all illnesses because of the food that we eat. All types of food that we eat. We bring illnesses into our body, and the first place that these illnesses go is where? Our stomach. Wal-Hamya, and prevention. Wal-Hamyatu Ra'sul Dawa, and prevention is the best cure. To reduce our food, to be careful of what we eat. This is a medical teaching in Islam. Another hadith says, Kul wa anta tashtahi, wa qum wa anta tashtahi. Eat when you feel hungry. There are people that eat when they're hungry and when they're not hungry. At all times you see them eating. Kul wa anta tashtahi. Eat when you're hungry, not when you're not hungry. Wa qum wa anta tashtahi. And stop eating when you're hungry as well. Don't stop, because usually we keep on eating until we're full. The hadith says no. When you stop eating, make sure that you're also hungry. Leave some room. This is an Islamic medical advice. The Quran says, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا. Many of us will understand this verse to mean eat and drink, but do not be wasteful. Do not be extravagant. وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا means do not be wasteful. There's another meaning to وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا. وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا means do not be excessive. Eat and drink, but don't be excessive. Everything has limits. You can eat whatever you'd like, even sweets, with sugar, but not excessively. If it has limits. وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا. Another teaching, another hadith says, عَوِّدْ كُلَّ بَدَنْ مَعْتَادٍ. Do not eat anything that you are not used to eating. If your body is used to a certain type of food, a certain type of drink, keep it that way. Do not introduce to your body something that it is not used to. For example, if you're not used to eating spicy food, after many years you want to introduce spicy food to your body, obviously it will have a different sort of reaction. Some ahadith, for example, say avoid eating fish. The consumption of fish can be harmful. There are teachings that tell us to eat salt before eating. Begin with salt and end with salt. This is an Islamic medical teaching. There are several, and the list goes on. Sallu ala Muhammad wa
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Recently, my dear brothers and sisters, there's a new movement that has been revived in the seminary and in the Islamic Ummah. There's a return to Islamic medicine. There are some voices in the Islamic Ummah, and specifically in the Hawza, that says we need to go back to Islamic medicine. And we need to abandon modern medicine. This is a new movement. And we see that it rose particularly during the days of COVID. During the days of COVID, there were lots of voices that were saying we need to go back to Islamic medicine. Why? Because during the days of COVID, there was no modern medicine. There was no cure for COVID. Even till today, there's a vaccination for COVID, but is there a cure for COVID? No, there was no cure. Some proponents of Islamic medicine, they say modern medicine was not able to cure COVID, but we are able to cure COVID. We have a cure. And they introduced something called Tibb Imam al-Qadhim, the medicine of Imam al-Qadhim. And they introduced something called the black seed, or through honey. They said we are able to cure COVID through these means. And in fact, it was a group that was against vaccinations. They said these vaccinations are harmful. Who said, what is in these vaccinations? Who says that it doesn't come back and harm us a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And there was a lot of people that refused to be vaccinated. They refused this modern medicine. In fact, some believed that COVID vaccinations were a conspiracy. They were a conspiracy to change us, to change our mind, to change our spirit, to change us biologically and morally, to make us more susceptible to immorality or even homosexuality, some say. And it was this period, during the days of COVID, that a lot of people turned to Islamic medicine as a replacement for modern medicine. And several religious scholars, they became proponents of Islamic medicine and they declared themselves as doctors. Now why the emphasis on Islamic medicine? Especially in the past 2 years, from 2020 up till now. In the past 2-3 years, there's an emphasis on Islamic medicine. Why? Several reasons. Number one, COVID, because there was no real cure. There was no real medicine for COVID. A lot of people opted to go for Islamic medicine, using the black seed, which has narrations. The black seed has narration, al-habbatu sawda, and the usage of honey as well. There's a verse we will talk about. There's an entire verse in the Quran on the usage of honey. Like cancer. They say modern medicine has failed to provide us a cure for cancer. Millions of people are dying from cancer. There's no cure. But Islamic medicine can provide a cure. Modern medicine is very expensive. Modern healthcare, it's expensive. It's not affordable. If you have healthcare, this is one problem. You're paying a good amount. If you don't have healthcare, then that's it, even a bigger problem. What do you do if you don't have healthcare? And you don't have health insurance? Modern medicine is meant to take away your money. It's a financial hoax. It's based on capitalism. The purpose is to steal your money, to make a good amount of money. While Islamic medicine is cheap. Islamic medicine is very affordable. 4, there's a return to akhbarism. A revival of akhbarism, the akhbari school. That we need to return to the teachings of Ahl-e-Bait. The teachings of Ahl-e-Bait have been neglected. Turned away from the teachings of Ahl-e-Bait and the narrations of Ahl-e-Bait. Usulism has taken us away from the traditions. They have divided the traditions of Ahl-e-Bait into Sahih, Da'if, Hasan, Muwatta, into 4 categories. Weak, authentic, reliable, unreliable. While all of the hadith of Ahl-e-Bait are reliable. Now who is saying this? Proponents of Islamic medicine. They say we need to go back to the teachings and narrations of Ahl-e-Bait, and a good number of the narrations of Ahl-e-Bait discuss medicine. The same way that they discuss ibadat and mu'amalat, they discuss medicine. We need to take medicine from the Ahl-e-Bait. Number 5, proponents of Islamic medicine believe in conspiracy theories. They believe that Western medicine, modern medicine, is a conspiracy. It's a way to take our money, to steal our wealth. And it is meant to reduce the Muslim population. They produce medicine in the West, they ship it to the East, and they sell it to our countries in order to reduce our population. This is what some of the proponents of Islamic medicine believe. This is correct or not correct? This is another story. There's a financial scam, there's a financial hoax. Pharmaceutical companies are making billions and billions. Why should we buy into this? While the Ahl-e-Bait and the Quran, they offer us Islamic medicine, an Islamic cure. Why should we buy into the notion of Western modern medicine when Islam offers us a cure? Sallu ala Muhammad. Proponents of Islamic medicine also believe the following. Number 1, it is the Ahl-e-Bait that carry knowledge of medicine. Because the Ahl-e-Bait have knowledge. And their knowledge did not come from Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Berkeley. It comes from Allah Azza wa Jalla, directly. Their knowledge can't go wrong. Sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. No, their knowledge is always correct and authentic. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam says, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا عِلْمَ كَطَلَبِ السَّلَامَةِ وَلَا سَلَامَةَ كَسَلَامَةِ الْقَلْبِ. Know that there is no science like the science of well-being, being fit, being healthy. And there is no well-being, there's nothing healthy like being healthy in the heart. There's no well-being like the well-being of the heart. This is one hadith. Another hadith says, Al-ilmu ilman. Science is of 2 kinds. Ilmu al-adyan wa ilmu al-abdan. Science is of 2 kinds. One is the science of religion, understanding religion, knowing religion. And 2, the science of the body, the human body, the anatomy, the human anatomy. These are 2 sciences that Islam has come to teach and encourages people to study the science of religion and the science of the human body. We all know that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has a book.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
His student, Al-Mufaddal ibn Umar, has a book called At-Tawheed, Kitab al-Tawheed. And this was a book that was dictated by Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Al-Mufaddal was one student of Imam Sadiq. Jabir bin Hayyan is another student. In fact, in the university of Imam Sadiq, in the school of Imam Sadiq, you would presume that Imam Sadiq only taught fiqh, tafsir, aqaid. No. Imam Sadiq taught chemistry. He taught biology. He taught human anatomy. And Kitab al-Tawheed by Al-Mufaddal ibn Umar, it contains a great portion on human anatomy. Thus, it was the Ahl-e-Bait who were the founders of modern medicine. Why do we need to turn to others? When they are the founders, when they are the teachers of modern medicine. Modern medicine goes back to them. This is one. Two, as we mentioned, that proponents of Islamic medicine, they believe that modern medicine is a hoax. It's meant to take our money. And in fact, it can cause cancer. A lot of the medicine that we take, all the pills that we take, God knows what they will do to us. This is what they believe. Maybe a lot of the pills that we take for heart disease, for our kidney, for our liver, it might cause cancer. It might have other repercussions that we don't know. Later on we will discover. Islam, on the other hand, Islam came as a solution for everything. Islam came to fix all of our problems and bring a solution to all of our problems. Spiritual, social, political, economical. That is why in Islam we have an economic system. Islam taught us economics. And Islam came to solve our medical needs as well. Islam provides us a medical system. The same way that it came to solve all of our problems, it came to solve our medical problems as well. So Islam provides a medical solution. And they say that the Imams themselves, they were not only religious leaders and they were scholars, they were doctors as well. They were doctors, they were scientists. So we can turn to them. In fact, Islamic medicine can cure the illnesses that modern medicine is not able to cure, such as cancer. This is what they believe. This is what they say. We have 11,000 narrations on Tibb, on medicine. 11,000 narrations, 11,000 hadith by the Ahl-e-Bait that discuss medicine. This shows that the Imams, the Ahl-e-Bait, they had a medical project. Medicine was it was on their agenda to come up with medical solutions for people to learn from what they had. They had a medical project. They were meant to cure people. Now, proponents of Islamic medicine, you tell them that a lot of the narrations that discuss medicine, they have weak narrations. They have weak chains of narrators. They have a weak isnad. They say, so what? This is not a problem. And again, this goes back to akhbarism. Because in the akhbari school of thought, they do not divide the hadith into 4 sections. These 4 categories of hadith, they were introduced by Al-Alam al-Hilli. Al-Alam al-Hilli. He divided the hadith. He was the first to divide our hadith into 4 categories. Sahih, Da'if, Muwaththaq, Hasan. So reliable, not reliable, authentic, weak narrations. Akhbaris, they reject. They reject these 4 categories. They believe that all of our hadith are authentic. And we are not allowed to question any of our hadith. So even if a hadith has a weak chain of narrators, this should not stop us from benefiting from those ahadith, especially if there are 11,000 narrations and traditions regarding medicine. And look at the Quran. The Quran itself, it says that it was revealed as a cure. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاء. Shifa means cure. Allah says we reveal the Quran as a cure and as a mercy. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ. The Quran contains a cure and it contains rahmah. It's a blessing. The Quran itself is a cure. When it is read upon someone who is ill, it is a cure. The Quran also tells us about what Allah has created. Allah has created bees. And these bees, they contain a cure. يخرج من بطونها شراب مختلف ألوانه. Allah says that from its stomach, bees, there's a cure inside with different colors. فيه شفاء للناس. It has a cure for people. إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون. This is a sign for people who think and ponder and contemplate. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a cure in the stomach of bees. But where are we to think? Where are we to benefit from this? We have gone towards modern medicine. Proponents of Islamic medicine, they say that medicine has to be taken from Islam. Has to be taken from religion. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. He created the human body. And who knows the human body more than Allah? Humans know the human body more? Or Allah? Allah is the one who created the human body. We need to take the cure from Him. We need to take medical teachings from Him and from His messengers and Imams. Because He created the human body. And as Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was quoted in the Quran, he had said, وَإِذَا مَرَضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. And if I am sick, He will cure me. He didn't say doctors. He didn't say Cedars-Sinai Hospital, John Hopkins Hospital. No. وَإِذَا مَرَضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. Allah cures me. No one else. That's why we have to turn to Allah. And then proponents of Islamic medicine, they say, you know what, even modern medicine, do you know what this medicine contains? Maybe it contains some things that are najis. It is taken from animals. What do you know? Maybe it contains something that is najis. Or it might contain alcohol. You are consuming alcohol. Or certain chemicals that can affect you. And some even argue that a lot of modern medicine has a placebo effect. Meaning that it's only psychological. You take this medicine, because you assume that it's going to fix you, after an hour you feel you're okay. You feel that you don't need to see a doctor anymore. This is called a placebo effect. It means it's all in your head. It's psychological. They're selling it to you in thousands of dollars, but only to make you think that you're okay. But there's nothing in there. It only has a placebo effect. On the contrary, we need to come back to Islamic medicine. Now, what is Islamic medicine? Islamic medicine is Quran, verses of the Quran. Islamic medicine is dua. Islamic medicine is paying sadaqah. That is part of Islamic medicine. Special prayers. And herbs, herbal medicine, which is taken from herbs. Nothing dangerous, nothing chemical. This is Islamic medicine. And proponents of Islamic medicine, they say that today, unfortunately, people have lost faith in Allah. If someone has cancer, God forbid, immediately where they go? They go to a doctor. They go to a hospital. They don't say, wait, but once again, let me stop and turn to the one that can solve all of my problems. Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah can cure me. People have lost faith in Allah. And they have more faith in doctors. They have more faith in pills and in hospitals instead of having faith in Allah Azza wa Jalla. Sallu ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.